My blog is about the accidental Koran burnings on a military base in Afghanistan and the aftermath and reactions to it. So last week there were Korans that were removed from a prison library in Afghanistan because they had radical or inflammatory messages scrawled on them. They were placed in a bin labeled religious materials and were identified for disposal. They were collected from the Par 1 detention facility, which is a prison that's next to an American military base. They were inadvertently taken to an incineration facility. The U.S. officials said the books were mistakenly sent with a pile of trash for disposal before several Afghan citizens identified the Korans. Islamic experts say that if a Koran should be disposed of, it can be burned or it can be released into flowing water. However, local Afghan religious leaders says that is not in local practice to dispose of Korans at all. After the mistaken Koran burnings, thousands of Afghan citizens started protesting. First, the protests were peaceful, but then the groups turned violent as they tried to enter the district's largest city. Several Afghan citizens tossed grenades at American bases, and there was violence for about 6 days. This killed 7 U.S. troops. Also, there have been NATO troops that have been killed along with several protesters by either the Afghan police or when NATO officials were firing into the crowds. After the Korans were burned, President Obama sent an apology to the Afghan president offering his sincere apologies, saying that there was an error, was inadvertent, and assured that America will take the appropriate steps to avoid any reoccurrence and to include holding accountable those who are responsible. Obama views this apology as attempting to calm down the situation to the Afghan people and to the government. However, there have been critics to Obama apologizing for the situation. All of the Republican presidential candidates have denounced the president's apology, except for Ron Paul. And then other critics say that the regrets did not quell the anger of the Afghan people because they view the Koran's burning not as a mistake, but as an illustration of what they perceive as a foreign disrespect for their culture and religion. And then the critics also say that that we should not have apologized for something that was unintentional and this made America look weak. So those are just the 2 viewpoints, I say. So my questions for you is, what do you think about the situation? How should America have responded to it? Should we have apologized? Should we have made more statements to the Afghani government and people? Or should we not have said anything at all? Do you take that position? Another question is, what can we do to avoid situations like this in the future? Any comments on how we should train our military personnel when dealing with Middle Eastern culture or just the other culture of any other countries we may be facing interactions with? Also, just your comments on the relation between, I guess, how the people in the Middle East view America, because clearly the people in the situation thought that we were having an assault on their culture and religion. So why do you think that way, and what steps should America take to smooth over those relations?